Hey everyone, I'm Henry, professor of philosophy and religion and spiritual leader. Please seek help in dealing with substance abuse issues. Today I'm talking more about cravings. How do we get over the experience of stopping alcohol and what it has to teach us. So today is day 48 out of a 90-day no alcohol cleanse. I think this is these past few videos on cravings have been good for me to rework much of the thinking that I learned as I actually experienced how to actually do this. And another emotion we feel is a sense of peace once we've decided we're going to have drinks. So we anticipate it, and then there's a sense of non-anxiety. It's like, oh, I can give up all this effort at dealing with cravings. I can give up all this effort at experiencing anxiety. So we perceive alcohol as this miracle substance that can get rid of anxiety, all the angst, the worry about work and family and relationships and self. It becomes almost this panacea, this cure-all for all our human failures and foibles and worries and anxiety. It can become this miracle substance in a small to moderate way. This is sort of the psychology of why we drink. And there is something very pleasant about that. And I'm just thinking about this more as a sort of a new focus for me too. Yeah, why do we have these thoughts that it's this wonderful miracle substance, and that when we're socializing with other people, it can be so great because we're all taking the miracle substance together, and we can just let go of all these worries about not drinking. Because I think it takes effort and there's anxiety about not drinking, and then we can just give up that all up. So yeah, it does take a lot of effort, a lot of psychological effort, personal effort to not drink. And by drinking, you give that all up because you've made the decision to drink. So I think there really has to be a strong focus, really for everyone, about the decision to take any sort of substance. That has to be a decision that is made very, very carefully, even for light to moderate drinkers, because of the potential risk for something bad. But yeah, that's part of, I think, what keeps moderate drinkers going, is that it's this miracle substance, and it takes away the need for the effort to go through what we've been going through with this 90-day challenge. But spiritually, to take a sense of responsibility for ourselves means that we understand that, again, alcohol is not giving us anything that we don't pay back later. So later on, it's not this miracle substance, oh, it's keeping me up at night, I'm not sleeping as good, I don't feel as good the next day. So it is not a miracle drug. It's not a panacea. It's not a cure-all. And the focus should be on friendship and family and not a substance. There is no miracle drug. We are the miracle already. We already have that. We just need to control our thinking. And again, it's not the miracle because we already have it in this sense of needing to control it. This, which is rational, means it is not the miracle. There is worry associated with it, and all the other problems with alcohol. But just to acknowledge and be aware that we do have this thought that, oh, how wonderful it would be. This will get rid of all the negativity. Yeah, so there's a lot of these just basic emotions that we have, and it's sort of it's a false promise. So I want to talk about sleep again. That was one of the first things I noticed. That was a real problem with alcohol, and other people are saying this, scientists are saying this as well. Alcohol interferes with good sleep. And it may take a while for you to really be aware of that. Because often people who drink alcohol will fall asleep more quickly. That's their subjective experience. They feel that they fall asleep more quickly, and they feel that they sleep just fine. A lot of people are deluded about that, however. That's what the scientists are telling us. Yes, it is true that they enter the first stage of sleep sooner. That can be true. But especially the second half of sleep, so from 2 or 3 at night to the morning, is much more disrupted. And people don't really realize that. They're sort of in bed tossing and turning. They may not really remember that. And also REM sleep, where we're getting a lot of our dreams, and the body is doing a lot. When the body is calmed down, the body and brain are doing things that are necessary for it. And you tend to have more powerful dreams. So your brain is doing something. Still a mystery, I think, to scientists about what this dreaming is about. But nevertheless, when you quit alcohol, you get better and more deep sleep. Yet, that may take a few weeks to kick in because your brain is used to the way things were a certain way. So it may take a while for you to experience better sleep, especially if you've been drinking a lot. It may take a long time. And why is that important? And I think this really applies to spirituality, because if you get really good sleep almost every night, the brain can do that. The brain wants to do that. You will feel so much better during the day that you will experience life as being a little bit better. And we tend to make judgments spiritually about how we are experiencing life. It means how we experience the value of life, how we experience what God might be. Because if God gives us this gift of life, and this life is better now that we're not drinking, we see life more as a gift and more precious and wonderful. And if you have a spirituality that is not based on belief in God, but another kind of spirituality, like a Buddhist spirituality, just being able to experience life as better is itself the reward. And you see the preciousness of each moment. And that is something definitely true for myself. That if I'm getting that better sleep, if I'm not dependent on the alcohol, if I'm not looking forward, anticipating it, anticipating imbibing, anticipating drinking, that I can focus on just the indwelling inherent rewards of the present moment, and I'm not distracted by alcohol. So we stop drinking, we distract ourselves to get over the first week, and then future weeks. The first week is the toughest, and then we distract ourselves, and now we don't have the distraction of alcohol, so we can focus on what is real in life, what makes life real. So we also have to look at a lot of people don't drink in our society. Some studies show that 30% of Americans don't drink at all. They're teetotalers. And then another 30% only have about 1 drink per week. So this idea that drinking is normative is not necessarily true. Now, another sort of a funny aspect is that alcohol it makes you want to go to the bathroom more for many people. It has a function on the kidneys. So it's making you go to the bathroom, making you feel the urge to go to the bathroom. And that tends to wake you up as well. So that's another negative influence of alcohol. It's dehydrating, so then you want to drink more water. So it messes up your kidneys, and it makes you want to go to the bathroom more. So enough said on that. There's going back to cravings a little bit. There's a strange thing that happens to me as I've done this process several times, and other people have said this as well. Yeah, after stopping drinking for 2, 3, 4 days, I began to feel a little bit better. Cravings have started to come down. It's not really cravings, but this idea comes in, sort of a reward craving. It's the idea that, yeah, life is really good now. I did it. Look, I'm not an alcoholic. Look, I don't have a problem. I can stop fairly easily. And life is normal. Life is good. Um, why don't I just have a celebratory drink or two with friends or family? And that, for me, was a repeated pattern. And I think a lot of people go through that too, because a lot of people are weekend social drinkers. They will only drink on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, or days with ours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's sort of a normal pattern. But interesting though, why does that come up after 2, 3, 4 days? Because I think subconsciously you know that if you haven't had alcohol for say 4 days, and then you have a drink or 2 or 3, you really feel it on that 4th or 5th day. So you know you will experience it more powerfully in a sort of a reward thought, a permission thought. It's sort of a celebratory thought. It's the idea that, yeah, life has come back to normal and I'm feeling really good. And instead of just continuing, it's like, well, alcohol would make it even better. I think that's the thought again, that alcohol will kick it up a notch. It will make it even more enjoyable. It will add something new. But I noticed that that thought sort of came in very repeatedly, sort of drawing me back in. And I don't fully know, I don't fully understand what that thought is, but other people have noticed that. It's just, the addictive nature. It's just the fact that it does give us that big dopamine rush and probably serotonin rush. And it's because that's what it does. That's alcohol wants you to drink more. It doesn't want you to stop. It remembers. Your brain remembers 4 days ago. And that's why 90 days is so effective, because you've gone through many of those 4 days, 4 days, 4 days, and you've said no, and your brain relearns, reroutes, and at 30 days or even 45, it's easy to go back. But 90 days really helps get rid of those celebratory thoughts and really puts it all very much in perspective. You sort of become a different person after 90 days. In terms of really anything you do, if you're on the job, a 90-day review. If you're going to college or school, 90-day. If your first semester's over, you can learn a lot. You're in boot camp. You change. It changes who you are. You pick up really walking, hiking, or running. 90 days makes a big difference. Working out, you're starting to get really in shape. So 90 days is a really good an amount of time. It really makes a difference to do 90 days. Now I want to quote what someone else wrote. The best drink of the day is the one you have in your head before you pick up the real one. We've talked about that. That really shows something about human psychology. That best drink, that decision to indulge when you give into it. Now, I really, at this point, I'm not feeling that. I know it's good to pause at that decision point because that's when you decide to drink or not. And at, today's day 47, I'm very careful about making that decision. I don't think about it a lot because I'm not going to have that first drink in my mind. So I don't think about that. I think about how good I'm feeling now and how good I'm going to feel tomorrow. So be careful of those permission thoughts of that first drink that you take in your mind. Be careful of that drink.